This is gonna be horrifying and strange, but also horrifying. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact: I did to have it on and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact: I'm half tempted to do something. Obviously, I'm not risking. I'm not risking it. So I'm doing the same thing I did last review because I don't even have to be warned. I opened up this chapter and it's still doing the thing it did at the end of last chapter, and I'm not gambling. I'm not gambling. But also, the time of recording this review, the next chapter is going to drop tomorrow. So and by the time, this thing's not going up anytime soon. Like, this is not going up today. In fact, the video for today, the day of recording, has already gone up at the time I'm recording this one. So what I may do, I may record this review and then just cut it off and then edit in the next part of the review that I'll record tomorrow. That seems make sense? That seems legit. I think I'm gonna do that. I think we do that because there's no point in splitting this into two different videos. I did that for Fortnite. Yeah, I'll do that here. Well, I didn't do it for Fortnite because I just read Fortnite. I didn't want to wait for Fortnite because Fortnite isn't probably gonna drop till tomorrow. Oh, but it's gonna drop tomorrow anyway. I already did the dual review for Fortnite, so I'm gonna stick with that one because that one would have been super long. That thing came to like over an hour and a half long. But regardless, Chainsaw Man, 712. Yeah, I'm not doing the first page. I'm doing the same thing I did last time, except I had to skip the first two pages. So like, yeah, I already read this page right here. Your boy's scared. So I'll read the first two pages. Chapter 212. Really good girl. So I like having the channel. All right, I put way too much time and effort into the channel just to boom it for some Chainsaw Man. I ain't risking it. You'd be like, oh, Pencil Man, this is probably fine. I've seen it in thumbnails. Yeah, because they don't care. Me? I care. So let's see. Good, you're quick on the uptake. Listen up, Denji. The War G will be here soon. We come with 3 strategies. Okay, we're gonna skip this. Okay, yeah, good. I can skip these first two pages. But okay, now to get to this page. And that. Oh, I didn't hear a thing. And that's the plan. Remember, the fate of mankind rests on your shoulders. And mankind may be cut. No, I'm kidding. But ultimately, I saw a lot of controversy about last chapter. And here's the thing. I'm a man of two minds about this. Well, not really. I'm a man of coexistence, two sides, if you will. Everything in my mind is perfectly balanced. Hold on. Can I do it on one finger? Yeah. Perfect. Well, it's falling. Okay, hold on. Let me. Oh! Please. Whatever. Perfectly balanced is all things should be in my mind. Because on one half, I don't necessarily care about like Denji's character at the end of the last chapter being freaked and geeked and immediately convinced to work with him because he's down atrocious. Denji is a victim. I'll admit, I saw a lot of controversy over this chapter, over a certain thing that I heard about, and I'm pretty sure it's fine. But like, y'all, Denji's been a victim since like chapter 1. And ultimately, one of the biggest things that part 2 has been addressing is the fact that Denji has never he hasn't gone to therapy, y'all. Like, he still doesn't have good, well enough control or really understanding over, his base carnal desires and feelings. That's the thing he just doesn't have. It's not real. It's not true. He doesn't have it in his core or anything like that. So, him being completely at the whim of his physical nature still, does it kind of suck? Yeah. But it also doesn't surprise me considering the state he's in right now. Notably, he just basically died in his perspective, right? Like, he literally just got boomed for the free by falling. And then spontaneously, he's waking up with this girl who he barely knows and understands. She drops a plot twist on him, then reveals the entire fate of the world, then tells him his previous girlfriend was evil, and then flashes him. I think most people in his scenario would probably be just a teeny tiny bit confused. Teeny tiny bit befuddled. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. A little bit befuddled. A little bit bamboozled. So ultimately, I'm not going to blame Denji for being human in that sense. And I think the writing is fine. Because once again, it's never been addressed. And that's what part 2 is all about. Addressing what was unaddressed in part 1 and seeing how Denji handles it. Fortunately, he couldn't handle it that well here. For the thing I do agree is just way too gratuitous and weird. I don't think you needed, was it 8 panels? I'm not going back. Essentially, it was a bunch of panels and pages of that drawn extremely explicitly. And don't get me wrong, it's legal. Shonen Jump allowed Fujimoto to publish it. It's fine, legally speaking. But that's weird. It's weird. Especially considering it's heavily implied that Lil D is in the body of a teenage girl. And don't get me wrong, like I said, Denji's been a victim since part 1. This has always been a thing. But this feels weird. It feels extra gratuitous. It's not just Denji being down bad for everything, but it's just strange. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not. But and it is a concession I've just had to make as a manga man, you know? Cultures are different. People are weird. Some of my favorite, well, admittedly, some of my favorite mangaka, they aren't really weirdos. I like, is Otaku Shinobu Sensei weird? The author of manga. I'm trying to think, are they weird? As far as I know, not really. Same thing with the author of Fullmetal Alchemist, they aren't weird. they're chill. Yeonji Park of God of High School fame, are they weird? I don't actually know. But essentially, a lot of mangaka are weird. Like, there's a reason why teenage or younger, and many times, women are drawn really, really weirdly. So I know, but there are levels to, okay, it's weird, I accept the culture, and then it gets just strange. So for everyone complaining about, like, the 8 separate shots of Lil D's Little D, last chapter, I'm not disagreeing with them. I'm disagreeing with the people who say, oh, the character regression. I'm still more in the idea of everything being cyclical, and ultimately, part 2 ending with Denji probably doing something in regards to that feeling, considering he's at the point where he understands, like, his meta-narrative point of, like, just being manipulated over and over again. So I'm interested to see how that's tackled. So let's keep dancing these threads, Fujimoto. Please don't do anything devious. Let's see. And that's the plan. Remember, the fate of mankind rests on your shoulders. See, he heard absolutely nothing. We heard absolutely nothing either, so I do wonder what the plan actually was. But a lot of people did point out one thing that I got wrong last chapter. Technically, Yoru could have weaponized Denji at any moment. Who was going to stop her? Oh, you may be like, well, Fami and Lil D grabbed him. She can weaponize people out of range now. Remember, Tank and Splagooter were nowhere near her. And she straight some of them through their containment thing. Notably, it's not like Denji has been sealed inside of something or locked away in anything. And even beings that were sealed inside something, locked away inside something, Yoru's control and scope, even before she got the Las Bombas Nuclear amp, was more than enough to summon them to her. So if she wanted to weaponize Denji, she could. She just doesn't want to. So ultimately, Yoru, in spite of giving into her, like, endless war, never-ending war nature, she still loves Denji. And I think that's even better. Notably, I thought there was a little bit of character regression for you, but no, it's even better. The fact that she still doesn't want to do that. It's not just an Asa thing holding her back, because, you know, Asa has no control over Yoru right now. She, for some reason, does not fear her at this point, unless they cannot get the body back, or maybe Yoru's influence has grown so strong, thanks to the Las Bombas Nuclear, that the initial failsafe of Yoru fearing Asa, or no, Asa fearing Yoru, doesn't matter anymore. She's able to completely override that instinct, in spite of Asa's very clear fear of Yoru. But Yoru still loves Denji enough that she's not weaponizing him. If anything, it sounds like she wants to fight Lil D with an army and go head-to-head with her directly rather than having to weaponize Denji. Would she weaponize Denji as a last resort? Maybe, but it's really hard to tell because of how much of humanity has infected Yoru. And I think that's fantastic character writing. Let's see. Okay. Like you should run it by him one more time. You really? Let's see. Rest up in the nurse's office. We'll wake you when it's time. But that's the thing, since we didn't hear the plan, I was about to say, time for what? I don't know, and Denji doesn't know either. Let me see. I'm doing the same thing I did last time, where I'm scrolling on a separate tab to make sure things don't get devious. Let's see. Alright, good, he's just in bed. Alright, let's see. Wow, he literally just went and laid down, but I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. No. If I don't do something about Yoru and Asa, I guess a crazy war is gonna break out? I didn't hear a word of the second half. Am I gonna be okay? Yeah. And, like, this thing, Denji, like, no, even... Camera. Stop it. Focus. There we go. I was about to cover you. But Denji's, like, not even in a rock and a hard place. He's in doom and more doom. He's in despair and dereliction. He's in the darkest of darkness. Like this boy has not just going through it. Like, he is in the worst possible scenario, like, imaginable to humankind right now. Where everything is going wrong. And he's still, like, he's a young adult now. He's not a kid anymore, legally speaking. But still, even though I believe it was debunked that, like, the brain fully develops at 25, like, your prefrontal cortex fully develops at 25, there are still many, many adults well into their 50s that make dumb, stupid mistakes. So I'm not shocked that Denji, overwhelmed with all the information he's overwhelmed with, is now just, like, reverting back to basics. Am I gonna be okay? Am I gonna be alive? Like, he just doesn't know. Because everything's gotten so chaotic, everything's gotten so devious, everything's gotten so dangerous and diabolical, that he's genuinely in a point of, like, Like nothing, none is clicking. No synapses are firing because everything's gotten so devious and diabolical. Let's see. Am I gonna be okay? And like, look at that. He's not even resting. He's literally laying. He's laying in bed, disassociating, like, because nothing makes sense. What little control Denji had, what little logic he was just getting used to, thrown out the window, and now he's just being used by another faction to do things that are beyond his understanding again. And that's the thing. Denji, he's trapped, as he acknowledged back in the aging arc. He's trapped in this endless cycle that just seems to endlessly loop and loop and loop and loop and loop and loop, and there's nothing he can really do about it. That's the sad thing. That's the unfortunate thing. Well, let's see. Did you word the second half? Am I gonna be okay? I'm gonna skip on this page in particular. Denji. It's okay to wiggle the wagon in the nurse's office, right? Okay, so this is the other thing I heard about this chapter. Okay, so I know what I'll do. Just look at the pretty chapter select. Look at the pretty chapter select. All right? Look at the pretty chapter select. Isn't the pretty chapter select beautiful? Yeah. We're still not doing it last chapter. But want some help? What? Whoa! Don't react. Lie there and listen quietly. Good evening. It's me, Fumiko Mifune. Now this is camera. Stop! What's happening? Camera. You have one. I know I've been recording a lot today. Please. Fine. I'll export some videos and I'll let you rest a little bit. I'll close OBS for like the first time in 5 hours, but still. Fine. Let's see. This Fumiko Mifune thing's here about. Good evening. It's me, Fumiko Mifune. How did she get here though? Was she just hiding here? I mean, I know she has ties to public. How did she get here? I'm looking for. Stop it, camera. Stop it. Camera. Focus. Focus. Last camera lagged. You aren't lagging. Focus. I know my face is large and round. Focus. Here, maybe I have to move back. There we go. So do I have to be far back? But the thing is, I'm so far from the mic now, so I guess I'm just going to be louder. And I can barely reach the keyboard. All right. But I do wonder how she got here. She has ties to public safety, which currently isn't then I guess they did technically have an association with Lil D. Camera, stop! What do you want? What do you want from me? Like, it's so blurry. Did I just become part of a background? So do I have to be closer? How much closer do you want? How much? The camera. Okay. We'll try to stay around this range. Okay, let's see. Good evening. It's me, Fumiko Mifune. So let's see. I wonder how she got here. Because what I was saying before the camera kept freaking and geeking me. She technically does have ties to public safety. We know that. She is, In fact, I wonder what's up with him. Now that it's confirmed that he's not D. Yoshida. Like, what is he doing? But she knows she has ties to that. And we've also seen her die numerous times before. So I'm assuming we're probably going to get an explanation for that here. And that's kind of, I kind of heard about the explanation already. Okay, please, Cameron, this is actually getting absurd. I'm probably gonna have to hard shut down the computer for a little bit after this, because it was not this bad during any of the previous reviews. It should not be showing the focus. I'm not even moving. My mouth is moving, but that's the basic function of the camera. It should not. Yeah, come on, please. Let's see. It's me, Fumiko Mifune. Okay, gotta go. Safe next page. Denji-senpai, Death Thieves are using you, you know. Huh? For real? Well, yeah. Wait. Okay, camera. Oh, you get me that. I know. I gotta stop looking at OBS, but like, I downloaded the software to mess with you, and you're doing good. Stop it. Let's see. For real? Just think about it. What do you think will happen if you defeat War D? Yoda. Won't that trigger Death D wiping out mankind, like in the prophecy? Whatever she says, at the end of the day, Death D likes death. She's worse than you think, senpai. But like, I don't, because like, I go back and forth on immortality, and I've had this discussion with Chase about all the time, because it's a story, really, it unironically is a story about immortality and its costs and its benefits. And notably, I can't even really think of a story, and I think it's because humans who make stories are so heavily steeped in death, but I can't really think of a story where immortality is treated as like a net good thing. Whether it be modern stories, ancient myths, or stories from somewhere in between, immortality or longevity or a permanent longevity has never been like considered an amazing thing. Because I'm thinking of like the long-lived immortal beings in Seven Deadly Sins. They never necessarily lived super happy lives. For like ancient myths, like the myth of Sisyphus and like the boulder, and how he was trapped to a life of, or an afterlife of eternal punishment by trying to cheat death. And then of course there's is that also, who's the guy in the water? Who's the guy in the water who like locked death in a box and then was like put in the water, so like whenever he leaned down to drink the water would recede, and whenever he reached up for a fruit that would dangle from the tree, it would go away. So he's always starving and he's always thirsty, but he can never like perish because he's already dead. For even like Middle Tales, or what are I'm trying to think of like some Shakespearean stories that deal with like the idea of immortality. And, like none of them are good. And even like Marvel comics, they have the whole, what's it called? I forget what the context of it is, but there's like an immortal universe. I think it's like literally called the Serkanverse. Or maybe I have to think of something else, but essentially where everyone's immortal and it sucks. Like ultimately. And notably, I think immortality, at least with how our world functions right now, also wouldn't work. Like, if people couldn't perish, that doesn't suddenly stop people from feeling pain. That doesn't stop people from being tortured. It essentially just means overpopulation, like running out of food and mass starvation. Like that's kind of all that means in essence. So ultimately, a world of immortality it's like you would have to fundamentally restructure how the world operates. Like, do you know how much death is commoditized? Well, is that how I say that word? Commoditized? Not the commodified. Commodified. Is that? Am I using that word properly? Commodified. Okay. Thank you for not working. Let me just put it into the Googler directly. Commodified. Yeah, commodified. Yeah, okay. To turn or be treated into a mere commodity. Commercialized. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. Do you know how heavily death is commercialized and commodified? Why does it cost $15,000 or more to bury somebody? Because death makes money. Why is war ever constant? Because taking lives makes money. Why does have to, like, everything relates to death, because it's the endpoint for everything. No matter, even the very universe itself will eventually die, right? So removing such a concept from the very universe changes everything, and not necessarily for the better. You would have to remove not just death, but like the need for food, the need for water, the need for space eventually. Because like, say we somehow all figure out how to live without food or water, and we don't perish or anything like that, and we stay as we are forever. Eventually we're just going to run out of space on the planet. People would have to start living on top of each other if they could even do that. And like space itself, like there's just so many complications. You need to fundamentally restructure the world. So, I'm not sure. Let's see. And notably, at least from how it's been described so far, with the return of Las Bombas Nuclear, I don't even think erasing death is gonna erase death, because they were reborn. Yo, stop. Camera, you're generally getting on my nerves right now. I paid way too much money for you to be doing this. You're generally making me tweak right now. I'm going to hold absolutely still for 5 seconds. Do it! Fix! I should have to yell at you. Don't worry. I'm gonna power it down after this video. But all this being the case, all I'm saying is that is kind of like it's necessary. At least for right now. Like the world, it would take too much. It would undo too much, and it would be really complicated. So ultimately, and specifically in the context of the Chainsaw Man universe, just because you erase death through Denji does not mean that death will stay gone forever. Look at La Bombas Nuclear. And ultimately, that was a less fundamental aspect of the universe that got reborn. There would just be a new death. I don't think you can, especially with how fundamental it is, I don't think you could truly erase death. Now that we know that concepts can be reborn in this universe, it's too late. Death is a part of it. Too big a part. Let's see. She's worse than you think, senpai. Okay, we're good. Alright, let's see. But she carried me here. She's a good girl. How many people have carried you places? Remember Makima? Remember, I know you have a lot on your mind right now, but remember Makima? She did more than carry you. She carried you someplace. Was she a good person? Let's see. You sure about that? Am I wrong? Did she not carry me here? Let's see. She's slain several of my public safety colleagues. She's even slain me multiple times. Huh? But you're alive. Yes, I'm alive. Okay, so this is the explanation. I heard what this was born of. So we are getting an explanation here. But yeah, and this is, I'm gonna blame a lot of this. I know some people are gonna be like, this is character regression 101. And to a degree, I think it is. But I view this character regression as a less literal version of what happened when Falling got their hands on Denji again with her powers. Where Denji couldn't simply stab himself in the head to shut down the bad thoughts. Now he's essentially responding like a kid here. He's essentially being led around by the hand again because too much has happened. I honestly, on a level, I think his brain broke, right? Because once again, the world that he had just started to get used to, they just started to establish, is shattered. It's like he was in the middle. He's been playing the same game of chess over and over and over again. And what will happen periodically in his life is someone will come and flip the table. Just straight. And I'm not talking flip the tables in like, oh, knock the table over. No, like grab the table and just launch it across the room. And each individual time between these moments is Denji walking around, picking up the individual pieces, laying them back on the board, and trying to contextualize it all. Now that everything's been broken again, now that he literally nearly just died to Falling, and now that the one person he had just started to trust and just started to build a dynamic with, and was just starting to bond to again, has abandoned him in a sense, and now he's latching on to this, he's nothing again. He's empty. Just as he was reverted back to a child when he was directly attacked with the guilt that he feels over letting that boy perish. Now he's here again, where he's just like, I don't know, like there's nothing there, and I can't blame the boy for that because once again, he's just a boy. Maybe an adult boy, but he's a boy. But let's see, because does this look like is this the face of a man who knows what's happening? Is this the face of a man who has any like real concept or grasp of what's going on in his life? Personally, I don't think so, and I think that's okay, and I think it's interesting to see a character written like this. But let's see. Let's get this explanation. Yes, I am alive. All right, we're safe to go to the next page. At age 14, I made a contract. Yep, this is the thing that I saw everyone freaking geek over the chapter. I made a contract with the DTS. D. With its power, any human who knocks boots with Fumiko Mifune becomes Fumiko Mifune in both body and mind. Stop it, camera. Don't get me mad. Don't get me mad. You get your camera. Look at my hand. Look at my hand. Look at my hand. Okay, there we go. But that's actually kind of a crazy ability. This is the thing I saw people get mad though. The DTS, D, and at age 14. Those are the two things I heard about for this chapter. And to both, I say, one, do you know? Like, and notably, I don't actually know much about Japanese culture. Not at all. I've been a manga man for years. Even before this channel was born. But I did not know about Japanese culture, at least until recently. But unfortunately, that's not surprising in this universe. That's not surprising in our universe. Do you know how young kids are getting? You know, it's sad. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Trust me, I'm not. Don't look at me and suddenly say, oh, just because it happens, that makes it okay. No, I think it's horrible. Just like I think this camera not focusing is horrible. Focus! Oh, you're making me double. Oh, you're making me double. Oh, you're making me double. Are you overheating? You don't even feel warm though. I know it's been hours. I'm gonna turn you off. I'm just gonna edit. I'm gonna after I export the videos I recorded, I'm gonna chill for a little bit and let you relax because I'm gonna record reaction videos after this, and I need you to function if I'm gonna record reaction videos. But I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's right, but this happens. And this happens a lot, and like, especially remember the time period that Chainsaw Man is set in. It's over 25 years in the past. Y2K is just about to happen. Culturally. Like, hold on. I'm going to look up something. What was the age of in Japan in 1999? 13. 1998, 13. Okay. So she was a year older than the age of consent during this time period when that initially happened. And then Millie, this is even further in the past, right? She's at age 14. I'm not sure how old she is now. But yeah, it's a sad, twisted thing, but it's a thing. Remember, this is, and when I heard the discourse, I was talking with somebody, and they were like, oh, this is disgusting, I can't believe Fujimoto did this. I'm like, do you remember part 1? Like, first chapters of part 1? Denji was told to sell himself, including his own organs, just to survive. I'm not shocked that this is that. Like, this is, like the main thing that gets me is that people are freaking out like this in Fujimoto's manga. Like, if you know Fujimoto, this is not surprising. It's an interesting ability, kind of crazy, but I wonder, darn, how many? And it does make me wonder, does it have to be with the original, or can it be any of the copies? I don't know, but still, I'm not surprised, and this is once again just a further elaboration on the commentary that Fujimoto, at this point, is very well known for. Fujimoto does not shy away from stuff like this. In fact, they barrel into it head on in a truck. Driving in my car right after Let me stop. If you're a Deltarune fan, you know what that's from. Let's see. Comes Mifune, becomes Fumiko Mifune in both body, mind, and body. After I made the contract, I did it all over the world. There's a Fumiko Mifune in every country. Ah, okay. With all that chaos, with all the chaos lately, my number of cells has steadily fallen, but we're still routinely exchanging information. Okay, so they aren't linked in a hive mind, but they can communicate. It makes sense. Let's see. Let me go next page here. All right, good. We're safe. Wars are breaking out around the globe, even without War D's involvement, just making Yoru stronger. Let's see. People are dropping like flies to conflict and disease, even when Death D does nothing. The D's don't have to lift a finger. Mankind's slowly marching itself towards its own doom. But if War D, or rather you, Denji-senpai, were to eat Death D, then mankind could live on forever. Until it gets, but that's the thing. Ultimately, and no, Fumiko may not realize this. But even then, no, she's part of public safety. She definitely knows. Just because Denji eats War D now, or War D or Death D now, does not stop those concepts from being reborn. It doesn't stop it. With that now being established mechanic of the universe, where things can just happen again, armed conflict between men will happen again. Especially if it's not like, I don't think it works like this. I don't think erasing a parent D deletes its children D. So unless Denji were to eat all weaponry Ds as well, including sword, including katana, including spagooter, including tank, including any sort of firearm, then mankind would be left with all these sharp sticks and these glowy two-hole things, and then they wouldn't like each other, and then they boom, and then suddenly War D is reborn. Maybe weaker than ever before, but still reborn. And maybe someone's gonna fall the wrong way, and then their neck won't go back. And then someone will be like, oh, wait a second. And then they'll die. And then Death D will be reborn. So, like, that's the thing. This universe has already implied and confirmed, to a level I think Fumiko knows, that certain things are inevitable. Certain things will always return. So, it's really, and this does kind of go to the idea. It's funny. In a way, by doing this, Chainsaw Man has kind of become like one of those old myths, the story of Sisyphus. Denji can eat that boulder every single day, but there's always going to be a new boulder back on the bottom of the hill. The rock is always going to roll right back down. There will be another War D. There will be another Death D. There will be, ultimately, these concepts will keep respawning as long as humanity continues to exist. It's an Ouroboros, essentially, where it's consistently consuming itself. There will always be humans to fear things, and there will always be fears to consume humans, and even if these fears are removed, humans will recreate those fears. They will recreate those concepts. It is rough. Just like this camera. Please! So I wonder why that resets it. I guess because I lean in? I don't know. Let's see. Then mankind could live on forever. Which I still don't... You need a fundamental restructuring. Let's see. Alright, we're good. So what if mankind starts an endless war because of War D? We're already fighting wars non-stop all over the world. And that is true. That is true. For no reason. No, for no reason. For no reason. A lot, well, there are... I can't say every single conflict ever has had no reason. And I don't want to go too deep into commentary. I'm not necessarily the channel for that. You may be like, that's man, don't you review Chainsaw Man? Yes, I do. I know. But if you couldn't tell by my many different views on life, the value of it, and my lack of interest in any type of violence, I ultimately don't think war or conflict is taking life, or even harming people, is good. On any level, for any reason. Especially for reasons such as, I want more land. I want more money. I just don't like you. Like, it's so, I'm not a fan of war. But ultimately, Fumiko is right in a sense. People are fighting anyway, and will always fight for reasons. Like, ultimately, if every single person were to look the same, spontaneously, say every single person just became a copy of one another, we would still find a reason to fight. I promise you that. We would find one thing that's slightly different. Oh, you live over there. I want to attack you now. There could be a whole world of you, and another you would find a reason to fight you. It's a sad thing. It's a sad thing, but that's just how it works. That's just how it works. For some reason. I don't know. And it's sad, because at least whenever I say that, people always ask me the question, so, Pencil, you believe humans are just innately violent with no hope of change? And I'm like, clearly not. I don't think I'm violent. And I don't think most people I know are violent. But, seemingly anyone in any position of power gets pretty violent. Let's see. Huh, is that how it is? Besides, Denji-senpai, why do you think you haven't been turned into a weapon yet? Huh? She should have been able to turn you into a weapon when you were dead earlier. Yeah, that's true. She's right. She's been. Why didn't she? Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Because she loves you, obviously. In a world without death, you should definitely be able to secure a happy life with Wardy. But the thing is, she didn't turn him into a weapon, but she didn't also come and save him. So I still don't think Yoru has fully accepted her feelings. She could have easily come and grabbed him and just said, you're in love with me now. You're my little dog. Like, she didn't do that. She just left him. So, like, her feelings are still conflicted. But clearly, Denji's a little bit excited on the idea of just living a happy life. Because that's all he wanted in the end. We'll see. Life with Wardy. When you do, I'd appreciate it if you'd ask Lady Wardy to also extend her mercy to Fumiko Mifune. Hey, aren't you using me too? Senpai, I'll give you this photo. Yeah, so she is. Oh, sorry, I didn't turn the page. But, yeah, she's used. That's the thing. No matter what, Denji's just a tool to be used. And ultimately, I think the narrative of Chainsaw Man will have to end with not just Denji defining himself, but using himself for his own ends. His own desires, his own needs, his own wants. Not necessarily non-influenced by anything else, because I think ultimately all humans are influenced by things that are not those same humans. We're products of our environment. Shock horror. But hopefully to some degree where Denji manages some form of freedom. But let's see. I'll give you this photo. Oh. Yeah, no. Yeah, we're gonna skip this last page. It's just a photo of her without clothes. We ain't doing that. Page 15. All right. How did it's a 50-page chat. What's wrong with me? She really is a good girl. Is she still under the bed? Did she not leave? Okay. Obviously, I'm gonna do the thing I said I'm gonna do. So this is probably gonna be like a nearly hour-long, if not more than hour-long video once tomorrow's chapter comes out and I come back from work and record it. But I'll give this chapter worthiness. It is a rough chapter, but getting an explanation on Mifune and how she survives, getting an elaboration on Denji's position or lack thereof of his position, having him at least somewhat realize that, oh yeah, I'm just being used by person after person after person, and ending him in this like weird empty conflict as the rain falls down, and highlighting the fact that Yoru loves him to some degree, but clearly there's conflict with that. Overall, just very, very good stuff, and I can't wait to see what happens next chapter. So I'm gonna not write off or anything. I'm just gonna wave goodbye as the me of the current moment gets atomized and eventually replaced by the me of the next moment, who tomorrow shall record the next half of this review that will not go up for multiple days. Bye-bye! Hi, it's me, from the future, the one that was not eradicated by the distance of space and time and is here to communicate with you and review chapter 213, Roll. This feels very weird, like the previous version of me no longer exists, yet is formally captured in video form, and ultimately to be nothing but editing software. A piece of editing software, a part of a story, of a narrative that I no longer have control over. All that is done within that time has been done, and has been lost, forever. Ultimately, it can never be retrieved. So let us sacrifice more time, together. Sorry, I don't know why I got mad existential now, but let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into chapter 213, Roll. I skipped over the first page. I still have to do the thing I did last time. For these last couple chapters, I don't know, these last couple chapters have been free, because it's getting devious and diabolical on this first page. Because it opens up with Denji thinking, and it's Lil D flashing the Lil D, saying, beat War D 4B, and it's Fumiko saying, bring down Death D, bring down Lil D, please, and Denji says, I'm a chick magnet. That's it. That's all that happens on that page. And I ain't showing it. Because guess what I like to have? A channel. And I can have a channel. So, ultimately, let's not waste more time. Let's keep going. Ugh, when women throw themselves at me, I'm usually getting... Oh, he's becoming self-aware. Becoming more self-aware. He's been self-aware for a little bit now. It's the level of self-awareness that, like... Oh! Whoopsie. But it's the level of self-awareness that fluctuates sometimes. Sometimes he's very self-aware, sometimes he's not. And now, look, he's being very self-aware. Well, he knows when women throw themselves at me, I'm usually getting tricked. And... yeah. Massive 1-4, Denji. Massive 1-4. But very true, very true. Let's see. Women throw themselves at me, I'm usually getting tricked. Oh, yeah, the fire D. Let's see. After this, you're going to choose between two options again. I wonder why that... Well, obviously because, you know... Fate is kind of circular. Well, not fate, but like ultimately life is but a series of choices, right? Typically a yes or no choice, aka a binary, aka choosing between two options. But I wonder if the Fire D does have some manner of clairvoyance. I mean, wouldn't it be a first? That's so many spoilers, though. I'm not gonna go into it. It would not be the first time that a being associated with fire has the ability to like look into the future. At least not in the story that I've read. But every single time I have read a story like that, where a being associated with fire has looked into the future, it's a massive spoiler. So I will not be mentioning it. If you know, you know. But very interesting, very interesting. So let's see what Denji ends up choosing, because essentially it is the binary, right? Like either he works with Asa / Shoru and then rules over a deathless world of endless conflict, which. Essentially, and that's the same thing that the past erased version of me mentioned. There is no humanity without conflict. There is no way that Yoru would not, or no, there's no way, well, actually, let me put it like this. There is no humanity without death. Death is too big of a motivator for all humans, I'd say. For all living things, really. Like, I'm not saying everything we do is motivated by death. Not everything. But, like, a lot of things. A lot of the biggest leap forwards ever all have something to do with death. Whether it be the discovery of nuclear energy, whether it be fire, heck, whether it be the whale, like, gone by. Like, ultimately, one way or another, discoveries and just existence is so heavily intertwined with death that I cannot imagine the universe existing without it for a long time. I can definitely understand why it took Las Bombas Nuclear a while to reform in universe. That just makes... Ultimately, it's very complex concept, and it's mixed in as a subsect of an overarching idea. Very specific, very niche, yet very, very important. But ultimately, if Las Bombas Nuclear was a 2, and that's why it took forever for it to get resurrected naturally, despite Chainsaw Man having consumed it. Death is a 27. The scale only goes up to 5, by the way. So like, there's no way that the Death D simply just wouldn't come back in a different form. Like, it is truly, in a way, inevitable. And then, obviously, the other option is to help fight and defeat Yor with the plan that Denji didn't hear. But, like, then there still is death. But then there's no war, right? But ultimately, while armed conflict is rather specific, as the erased version of me said, yeah, also kind of innate to humans. There are two, like, even, for example, say I had no idea what battle or conflict or war was, right? Say it was suddenly wiped from my mind. All instances of it were wiped. I would look around my room, and this is very silly me thinking of my room in particular, and be like, what do I use this? What do I use this for? It's a metal pole of some kind. Is that meant to... But then again, I mean, I think of this. This is a stick, right? Ultimately, the Jingu Bang is just a big old stick. Maybe I think it's just a walking stick. Okay, that's not used for war. But then I have a sword. A very... Well, not very heavy, but a very usable metal sword. I wonder what would come to mind by that. But then again, you know, I could use this for, you know, like chopping onions and stuff like that. So, you know, I can use it for cooking. But what happens to everyone who owns a Splagooter? Well, what are they gonna think of that? Huh? What are they gonna think of? Like, ultimately, I think while not as immediately prevalent and probably instantaneously reborn as death would be, war is something that would also likely just eventually reincarnate. So, like, Denji has a dualistic choice here. He needs to make one. But either way, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, no matter what choice Denji makes now, it's not going to be permanent. But then again, I suppose it's just simply even in that, just because something's not permanent doesn't mean it matters. If we went with the idea that only permanent choices matter, then no choice ever would mean anything because nothing's permanent. But essentially, in the meta narrative, or really the metaphysical nature of his universe, Denji's choice is only temporary. So I suppose that does, in a way, give him the most freedom and the most power to choose, because he gets to choose over that temporary world. Let's see. Once again, I'm going to be testing on the other page to make sure everything's safe. Alright, we're good. Oh, is this what that D meant? Oh, see, look at that. See, now, and unironically, now that he's been left with time alone to, like, sit down and detox, and even be offered with something and think after Fumiko, I guess presumably just left. I'm not sure is she still under the bed? I have no clue. But since he's been left to think, now that he's calm, his brain is starting to work again. It's starting to it's not being, now he's taking in all the stimuli that was provided to him and, like, actually piecing through it and being like, actually, hold on. He's starting to think. But let's see. Someone's throwing rocks against the window. Okay. Clack. Clack. Oh! The past me that was Eradicate was literally wondering where this guy is. Yoshida. Yuaimo. Yoshida? I'm getting, that's his name, right? Right. I'm thinking of a different Yoshida, that's why. Yoshida. CSM. Yeah, Yoshida. Alright, interesting. So he's outside with something? Alright. Oh. Lil D and Femi, or at least Lil D was asleep, but now their eyes have opened up. And Femi's still crying, but eyes are open? What's happening? Why did they not do anything? Okay, next page. Okay, we're good. I think maybe we're safe. Maybe we're safe this chapter. Who knows? Hey, why are you standing in the rain? To Aura Farm? Oh, I thought he literally... See, for a second there, I read that, I was like, I wanted to look cool. But no, he literally said, I wanted to see the school. Huh? What's with that? I guess it is strange, right? Because last we saw Yoshida, he was trying to convince what he thought at the time was family to still work with them, and then family was like, I got a school project, and left. So I guess... I mean, he's presumably still working for public safety, right? So I'm guessing his motivation would still probably be to boom D, right? Like, I'm guessing he doesn't want to die. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. I wanted to see the school. What's with that? So they are letting Denji wander out a little bit, but I guess he's not going to go too far. Oh, no, I'm being way too... I'm still going to double check with the second page. Let's see. I was able to enroll thanks to you, actually. Given your age, there was always a possibility you'd start high school. Which is weird, because Denji's like, what, 19? Hold on. Denji, like... Well, then again, I'm not sure if it was different back then, but Denji's, like, old. Oh, he's 18. He's 18, at least according to the wiki. So technically, yeah, he could start high school. I don't know why I thought Denji was older. I thought he was, like, an adult. I was like, given your age, there was a possibility you'd start high school. Public safety hired me to enroll here so I could guard you at school. I was reluctant, but in retrospect, I was assigned to a pretty good role. Roll credits, a chapter. Right. But you know what? Funnily enough, it all goes back to the writing, to the core of the narrative. Because if there is one thing I can definitively say, Sensaman Part 2 has been about, it is the idea of roles and what it means to have one, and what you should do with, about, and around your role. So since we're bouncing off all these ideas off of Denji and we're in the end game, we might as well take another character who was given a role sort of beyond themselves and see what they do with Denji. Because I'm assuming they're gonna hang out. I was like, huh? Alright, let's see. Oh, let's see. Hey, are you here to ask me for a favor too? Huh? Everybody's hitting me up for favors today. And, FYI, oh, Lord. Denji. FYI, flash me your undies or anything else won't work in your case. Yeah, Denji. We know that, Denji. I'm not gonna try. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. A favor, huh? What's in the bag, Yoshida? What's in the bag? Oh, okay, never mind. We're chill. All right. I guess it is the end of the world. Where'd you get pizza from, though? I brought pizza and drinks. Eat with me? That's good. And he's just chilling. I mean, Denji, it could be... I mean, I don't know. Once again, I'm not... He's still suited up. Like, I'm guessing Yoshida's role is still the same. But I guess he wouldn't really have motivation to harm Denji. He probably would want to make sure Denji's under his heel and thumb still. Because they would need him to erase death as what was public safety's main goal. Did, like, Yoshida know that death is here? They did... Now I'm actually kind of confused. Like, does Yoshida know the twist? I'm not actually sure. Let's see. That's good. Interesting. All right. Hey, aren't you gonna eat? Honestly, I like watching people. And you know what? With this getting to the end of part 2, or it feels like we're getting to the end of part 2, I will give. Brain, synapses, fire, Fujimoto Sensei. There we go. I don't know why my brain just refused to say Fujimoto. But I will give Fujimoto Sensei something above all other things. Their use of Aki and power and their restraint on not introducing a new blood fiend, immaculate. And also, realistically, Reize has not been used as much in really throughout part 2. She's been hinted at in weird ways, but unlike Aki and Power, who make consistently on flashbacks, Reize hasn't gotten that same treatment. But still, very particularly, the utilization of these two as like a constant stinger in the back of Denji's mind, and like a core foundation to his current state of aimlessness and loneliness. I like it. I like it a lot. It's very good because it works on both the readers and Denji. Because a lot of the readers have definitely been waiting for a new Blood Fiend, right? Like, that's kind of how part 1 ended. It set up the idea that, well, you know, she's a fiend, right? She'll be back, just in a different form. She wouldn't remember Denji, but, like, maybe Denji could recultivate that same connection, that same unity, maybe that same, like, brother-sister dynamic that he had with her. But Fujimoto's been like, nah! And obviously, technically, I believe Aki became a fiend, so he could have reincarnated, but nah! Ultimately, that's the thing, they only appear to remind Denji of what he's lost and what he could regain in a new way. Neither of them have been returned to him in order to rekindle those old connections. Part 2 has been centering Denji around new ideas and then ripping them away while keeping on reminding him of the past and seeing how he feels about it. And like you can see here for a moment here, he's even melancholic. He's like, some guys are like that. So like and that is one thing I've seen commonly thrown at part 2 Denji. I know people say he doesn't care, doesn't like seem to remember anything about power and Aki. But like I think he does. But like many things in Denji's life, he hasn't had like he's processed them to some degree. He's been like forced to process them in some ways. Like when Pochita threw up the Snow D and like those memories came back, like that he was forced to process those, at least for a little bit. But he hasn't like really, even with how much narrative has been happening, even the pre-narrative with all the Nagisa stuff, and then the actual narrative, which has kind of just been on go. He hasn't really had to like sit down and think about all that stuff. So it only comes up in these moments like this where it's just little things that remind you of what you've lost. And like as a person who's lost people before, who's lost people deeply cared about before, it is true. It is moments like these little tendencies that remind you of them, and it does it hurts. It hurts. Whew, it hurts every time, but it comes with a bittersweet feeling, and I think that's what Denji's like expression here embodies. It's a very wistful look. He's like, yeah, some guys are like that because he remembers. He just understands it, and it reminds him of a happier, simpler time, and that means something to him. And that's why ultimately I can never really say I don't like Denji's character in part 2, or I think it's whack, or I think it's buns, or I think it's buddy. Like ultimately, there's just too much. It is very circular. It is truly like a ball that bounces forward and bounces backwards depending on the time, and rolls sometimes to a stop and then sometimes rolls forward. But it's clear the ball has the wear and tear. The ball's deflated a little bit. Like there is so much subtle character writing with Denji that can ever say, oh, you know, the character's whack entirely, or Fujimoto doesn't know what he's doing with Denji. No, I think Fujimoto knows what he's doing. But it's just like, it is the most real pain and truest to form character I've seen in like ages, which is, oh, it's rough. But let's see. Yeah, some guys are like that. Oh, okay, we're good. Remember that time we got hassled by delinquents after school, and you transformed into Chainsaw Man? Oh, yeah. I want to give him a good scare by cutting off an arm or two. Which is crazy to do. It's regular humans, still. That was a tough one. I saved the day by punching them all out. Hanging out with you is hard work, but those memories all make me laugh. Hold on, let me take a sip. Whew, that was way more than a sip. But, yeah. Like, and and I think maybe that's what last chapter made me think. And then when I went to review this, I was like, oh, we could do the esoteric vibes last chapter, or not even can't even say last review, last part of this video. But memories are beautiful, and then notably, this comes from a guy with horrible memory. Horrible, man. Like, my memory is garbage. Like, the amount of times I've been corrected on something, like, oh, I remember that completely wrong. Like, your boy's memory is doo-doo, booty water, butt cheek. Like, whatever adjectives you want to use, that's your boy's memory. Never has had a good memory, has ever claimed to have a good memory, never will have a good memory. But memories are a part of you. Experiences that live on inside you and help formulate who you are. And ultimately, it can be for good, it can be for bad, or it can be for something in between. Some of the happiest memories can be associated with some of the saddest times, and vice versa. Ultimately, the beauty of memory is that it helps define you. And that's why, ultimately, I think the worst thing you could do to a person is take their memory away. If you were to strip me of all my memories, all of them, just straight blank slate me, I don't think I'd be a person anymore. Obviously, there are cases of people with amnesia who do forget everything. Heck, I personally know some people who have amnesia, and they were able to function after a while. But as they remembered, like, words and how to speak and how to move and how to do things. But even if I still looked like me, even if I still sounded like me, even if everything that I was the same on a surface level, I'm not there anymore. The idea of erasing me like that, it's like, I don't know. It's why, and like, obviously, like, true perfect cloning copies all the memories too. So like that's different. But even just cloning in general, imagine perfectly, it doesn't feel right, because you are who you are because of what you have gone through and what you've been able to make of that. Whether your memories are perfect, like many people I know, or faulty like mine. It's you. It's a piece of who you are. It's what defines you. And seeing Fujimoto tackle memory with these two characters in particular, right? Someone who, in this, ironically enough, Denji and Yoshida stand almost as two opposite parallels, yet still sit aligned in this like beauty and appreciation of memory. Because Denji is relatively simple, right? You know, he's, at least seemingly on the surface, there's many complexities to the character, but he's relatively simple on the surface, right? He's driven by his carnal desires. He does what he believes is right in the moment without ever thinking or reflecting beyond that. It's what Denji wants, how Denji wants, when Denji wants it, and that's kind of how it is. It's kind of how the cookie crumbles. But Yoshida is someone who thinks beyond himself, someone who goes beyond himself, someone who works for an organization for the sake of the grand scheme of things. Like, only there's so much up in the air with Yoshida, so much that we still don't know. But even from what we do know, it's clear to tell that Yoshida and Denji are polar opposites. But the one thing they cherish, the one thing they link over, is memory. Hanging out with you is hard work, but those memories all make me laugh. Like, and then, who knows, maybe Yoshida's just acting here, maybe it's all fake, but I like to believe that he's telling the truth, right? And it is those moments where you don't expect it, those moments that will stick with you forever, for better and for worse, but those things you never expected that came your way that now sit there as a piece of your heart. It's a beautiful thing, It can be sad, it can be dreary, it can almost be hopeless, but it still is, and I think that's beautiful. Let's see. Those memories all make me laugh. But he's definitely hiding something. He's definitely hiding, he looks a little bit too slick. Let's see. Hey, Yoshida, did you just come here to feed me? Denji, you're probably in danger. He's smiling a little too much. Let's see. Oh, he stands up. I'll be honest with you, Denji. I came to say goodbye. We won't meet again. Why is that? Why are you going to Yoshida? Why is that? Yoshida? Let's see. We won't meet again. Alright, let's see. Thanks, Denji. I had tons of fun going to school with you. Oh, sure. Denji, don't shake his hand. Denji, don't shake his hand. Denji, leave the hand alone. Denji, make sure the food you ate was poison. Huh? Yeah. All right. So maybe even this was a lie. Maybe this is all just bait. But yeah, it looks like it. They shake hands. Hey, thanks for all the free food. A true, genuine smile from Denji, and that same empty, hollow smile from Yoshida. Sorry. All right. Let's see. My role is to be a switch. Huh? Did he have a La Bamba inside him? What the heck? How? And that's the end of the... Okay. W chapter, but I'm a little confused. Okay. So I'm assuming he still is working for public safety. He's still fully suited up. He came here. He baited Denji, got him to this point. And then he boomed him. But that seems like a move that maybe Yoru... Well, then again, why would Yoru... I'm not sure who would want this. I don't think Lil D would want it. And I don't think public safety would want it. And I don't think Yoru would want it. So, like, who is... Is Yoshida actually working for anybody? Or is this just... But he says my role as if he's following a superior. Because, like, a switch has multiple meanings. But I'm assuming, like a kill switch or, like, a bomb switch. So, I don't know. Very, very interesting chapter. Though. Once again, maybe very wistful. Just as Denji appeared very wistful. What does that mean? Just as Denji appeared very wistful, I don't know. This chapter may almost go down like a weird memory lane of sorts. So I do like that. And ultimately, I'm not going too far back. But I do like how much of it was real, just because of Yoshida. It's really hard to tell. And as I find myself saying every single time Yoshida does something like this is like the 4th or 5th time he's done this. I want to know more about the guy, but maybe that's the thing. Maybe we're never meant to know more about Yoshida. Maybe he is truly, like, more simultaneously less and more than he seems, where we're supposed to want more, but we'll just never get it. Because this just seems to be another case of Yoshida doing something strange for a higher power that I guess this time may actually be permanent, because he says we won't meet again. But, I don't know. A very, very strange man, and a very strange chapter, but in a good way. So overall, if you've been able to see this video, please leave to be given a role. It's a whole sentence at that point, but to be given a role. 5 words in the comment section down below. And the thing is, what's watching, please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the lowercase will see you help us out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you don't have a Patreon below, you support me for as well as $1 a month. Things, exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member of the channel for as well as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Those perks include the live reactions, here the series I'm to review, and variations of all my videos, and you become a short on Patreon, or if you're a member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, the link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You shall find me a short video, don't have a long video, or anything at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Zach with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Buddha Ura, Alex Kenny, Enzo, Swift Strike, Autumn Mornings Lazo, Super Flame Zero, Yuki Ally, Azo2404, and G Prosper. And I'd like to give a thank you to our line art tier patrons: Victor Raji, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Dreadzoen, and A+A. I'd like to give a big old thank you to our Ink tier members, Austin Wimberly, Euchia, and Shrimpo the Shrimp. And I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members, Jay Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a final thank you to our colored art tier patrons, Waki Munoz and Waki Munoz.